I remember one time out, coach came in and said it's just going to take a lot of heart, a lot of fight for us to really want this and come back and, to really make a run, make a push because we can win this game. And, the guys that were on the floor, they took it to heart. And, I thought did a phenomenal job. I thought Deli did a great job. I thought, Chris, Giannis, and, everybody, they came together and, really made plays and got stops.
Yeah. When you think about the off season, I got to ask you, can you wait till June 26th to find out if you're going to be Rookie of the Year?
Oh, if I have to wait, I have to wait. It'd be nice to get that award. But, I feel like I know what I did this season, and at the end of the day, I know what I need to work on. So getting that award doesn't make me and it doesn't break me. It's just an accolade.
It'd be nice, but, right?
Yeah.
What did you learn in the playoffs, Malcom?
That it indeed is another level of intensity, another level of focus, and that the more experienced teams usually win. They're the teams that usually have the edge, but the younger teams can take you by surprise for sure.
So do you have more of that experience, that knowledge for next year? Because unfortunately, those of us that have been here a while, Bucks have played really well in playoff series, and then next year not even made the playoffs in a recent Bucks history. So how do you take that going forward?
You learn from history. You learn from what you've done, and I think this team. I wasn't here last year, but I think this team, the guys that were here last year, learned from what they had done the past couple years, and what they had been successful at, and what they had not been successful at, and really improved on that this year.
Malcom, sort of really close call. Do you think back and think you had that shot in Game 2, Deli had a shot in Game 2? I mean, there were a couple turning points where the series could even turn a different way.
For sure. There are always going to be times where, it could be a possible turning point with a big shot or a big steal or, if you'd got that stop but the ball rolled in when they shot it. But, you got to live with it. There's a lot of those you can talk about, but there are a lot of times, where we could have just not turned the ball over and taken care of the ball, or not taking a bad shot. So, it goes both ways for sure.
As the series went on for you, it seemed like things got quite a bit tougher. Just what kind of test was it to have Kyle Lowry, one of the best point guards in the league, 6 games and have to go at him night after night after night?
It was tough. He's one of the best point guards in the league, and with him especially, he's resilient and he's mature. You can just tell by the way he approaches the game, the way he refocuses every game. I actually learned a lot by just playing against him. He has a maturity level. He doesn't really get rattled, even when he's not making shots. He gets his teammates involved. He makes sure his team stays in the game. I mean, he's a true point guard.
You mentioned that you know what you need to work on. What are those things that you do need to work on this summer?
I think I have a lot of things. I'm going to continue to shoot the three and make sure that it gets better. But I think my post game can get better. I think my in-between game, coming off ball screens, creating space for my shot, can get better. And then my finishing around the rim, I think I can continue to get better at that. Watching film, watching guys like Kyrie, watching guys like Steph, they have great touch around the rim with both hands, and I want to be ambidextrous like that.
When we talked to Rashad last year and we mentioned the rookie wall, and I asked, is it a mythical thing or is it a thing that you actually hit? And he said, yeah, it's a real thing. And when we asked Jason about you kind of not having that about a month ago, he was like, no, Malcom hit it.
It's real for sure. I think it's real. I think mine was different. I think I'm an older player coming into the NBA, so mine wasn't as substantial as other guys. But I think everybody does hit it, and it's how you approach it. You got to acknowledge that you're hitting it, and you got to force yourself mentally to get through it.
Is there a moment in your mind that stands out as that was the day I hit it? Or
Not really. There might have been a stretch of 2 or 3 games where I was just super fatigued and wasn't focused and locked in as much as I could have been. But overall, I don't really remember when it was.
Yeah, Malcom, you really survived the 82-game grind, though, very well. How did you kind of figure it out to, make that jump from the college game to where you were handling LeBron or whoever you were guarding, Kawhi, every night? You were often against one of the top scorers on the other team.
I depended on my teammates. I depended on Coach Kidd's advice. Taking care of your body, listening to the vets, and trying to continue to learn. This is a learning process. Your first couple years in the NBA, and just not get too ahead of myself. Stay in the moment, enjoy it, and continue to make strides every day.
What do you think about this team? It can be a playoff winner. What's it going to take?
Honestly, I think it's going to take experience in the playoffs, and that's what we got this year.
Okay.
And I think we'll refocus. I think every year it seems like, the training staff has said every year the team comes back in better and better shape. I think this coming season will come back in even better shape. And, this is a young, very talented team. There's no limit to what we can achieve.
Looking back at it, to start the season, MCW's on the roster, Ennis is on the roster, and Chris is healthy, and it didn't really seem like there would be a lot of time for you. And then all the trades happened, and the team kind of put you in a position to play quite a bit. What did that mean to you, looking back on it, that they trusted you almost immediately?
It was huge. When a team puts that amount of trust in you, you have no choice but to be confident in yourself and, rise to the challenge. In my own opinion, I think that's God working stuff out for you. When you have faith, when you try to do things the right way, I think He'll step in. I think He'll help. And then, it was the Bucks, really opening up that opportunity for me.
Malcom in the New York Times wrote about you the other day. You probably saw that. Wrote about the team, but talked about you. Would you ever thought that was going to happen in your rookie year, that you would take so much of the spotlight of the rookies in the league?
I actually didn't see the article. I'm sorry, but that's not something I've always thought about. I've always thought about playing in the NBA and being one of the best. But as far as the articles and as far as the press and the publicity, I never really thought about that. I thought about just playing really good basketball at the highest level.
Yeah, you weren't focused on that during the playoffs.
No.
You can go read it now.
Maybe I can go back and read the articles. Yeah.
Giannis plays 47 last night. I guess, could you talk a little bit about just Giannis and what you've seen from him this year? And I would assume that's the best basketball player you've ever played with.
For sure.
What was it like to be on the floor with him and kind of your chemistry with him?
I thought we developed great chemistry, and it's really just playing off of him. Being able to knock down shots, being able to create when he gets tired. But he's one of the great talents of the world. And playing with him was an honor, especially in my first year. But he's a guy that you play with him for the first few months, summer, and then the first few games, and you're amazed at everything he does. And then after a while, you're just like, he does amazing thing after amazing thing. It's every other play. You're just sitting there like, he did it again. And it's on ESPN that night. And he's a great talent, and most of all, he works extremely hard. That's what I respect the most. He works on his game. It's not just that he's a freakish athlete. He works on the stuff he does on the court. So, I don't think anybody should take that away from him.
What do you feel about your core going forward?
I think it's strong. I think it's going to be one of the strongest in the NBA. As long as we're able to stay together, as long as we're able to stay healthy, and as long as we continue to work individually and bring it together every season, I think we're going to be one of the best teams in the NBA.
And Charles mentioned the Rookie of the Year thing before. How did you just, now getting to know you a little bit better, how did you just keep that just so on the back burner and just not worry about it?
It's just about, keeping your priorities straight, making sure you focus on the right things. Your mind is the biggest asset in this game. It can either help you the most or hurt you the most. And if you're thinking the right way and you process things the right way, you're blocking out the right stuff, and you're paying attention to the things that matter, and that's winning games in this league, and then everything else falls into place.
Malcom, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great summer.
Good time on.